Athleticism.
What is good, YouTube? Kyle here from Wrestling with Fans. Welcome back to the channel. Got a really fun video for you all today. If you remember a few years ago here on the podcast, we did our very first season of WWE Fantasy Survivor. Heroes versus villains. It was faces versus heels, Bob, and I went through the entire season. Well, it is time for season 2, and I got a special treat for you all today. Without further ado, let me present to you WWE Survivor Blood versus Water. I'm super excited to be bringing you this. Now, what we're going to do today is we're going to be going over the casting. The casting for the season. Now, if you're not familiar with the Survivor concept, Blood vs. Water was season 27 of the Survivor reality TV show where they brought back 10 former Survivor contestants to play with 10 loved ones. The only thing is that they were playing against their loved ones. So in one tribe, you had all of the former Survivor players. On the other tribe, you had the 10 loved ones of their Survivor players. It made for a really interesting dynamic, and I think the same thing will play out here in this Fantasy Survivor WWE edition. We're going to stay with the Blood versus Water theme. We're not going to change it like we did with faces and heels. But let's get right into the first tribe. We're going to be going. Let's go to the yellow tribe. Excuse me. Let's get started with the first tribe. Let's go with the red tribe, Tadhana. Now let's start off with the men of Tadhana. And if we're going to start with the first tribe, we are going to start with the tribal chief, Roman Reigns. Acknowledge him. So for number 2, one of the voices of WWE Friday Night SmackDown, Corey Graves. So right now we have Roman and Corey Graves. Also joining these guys on the Tadhana tribe, a legend, future Hall of Famer. He's held just about every championship there is to hold. None other than Rey Mysterio Jr. Joining these guys, he's a member of Judgment Day, the Archer of Infamy, Damian Priest. And rounding out the men for the Tadhana tribe, he is the ultimate official Adam Pearce. So, now for the ladies of the red tribe. Let's start off with the former SmackDown Women's Champion, Naomi. Moving down to NXT, she is one half of the current, as of time of recording, NXT Women's Tag Team Champions, Jacy Jayne. Joining them is the current Raw Women's Champion, the EST of WWE, Bianca Belair. We also have a Hall of Famer, former multiple-time Women's Champion, the Glamazon, Beth Phoenix. And rounding out the Tadhana tribe, last but certainly not least, she is your role model and mine, we have Bayley joining the Tadhana tribe. So, as you can see here, these are the 10 members of the red Tadhana tribe. Now, of course, you have the tribal chief, Roman Reigns, who I would assume will take a very big leadership role in this tribe. And then you also have, Bayley and Jacy Jayne and Damian Priest, also on the heel side. But baby faces, you got Beth, you got Naomi, you got Rey, and you got Bianca. So you kind of got a 4-4 split. Corey Graves and Adam Pearce I could see as like little tweeners in this tribe. Kind of these swing votes, which would be very interesting. We'll do a little more in-depth later on in the video. All right, guys, without further ado, let's bring in the second tribe. This is the yellow tribe, the Galang tribe. We'll start off with the special counsel for Roman Reigns. It is none other than Paul Heyman. Joining Paul Heyman, also a member of the Bloodline and husband to Naomi, Jimmy Uso. Already an interesting dynamic on this tribe right now. Also joining these guys, former tag team champion with his father, Dominic Mysterio. And joining them, we have former tag team champion and husband to the EST of WWE, one half of the Street Profits, Montez Ford. And rounding it out for the guys on the Galang tribe, we have a Hall of Famer, a multiple-time world champion, multiple-time every champion. He's held every belt in WWE that you can possibly hold. He is the rated R superstar, Edge. So there's the 5 guys of the Galang tribe. Let's get into the lovely ladies of Galang. We'll start off in NXT with the other half of the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions, Gigi Dolan. Joining Gigi and the guys, we have a former WWE official and now, I guess, active member of the roster, Sonya Deville. We have another member of Judgment Day, which will be a really interesting dynamic, and I'll talk about that in a minute. Former Women's Champion, Rhea Ripley. We have former SmackDown Women's Champion. She is Money. She is Carmella. And last but certainly not least, rounding out the Galang tribe, it's boss time, Sasha Banks. This tribe has a very interesting dynamic as well. Of course, you have Paul Heyman, who is absolutely a zero physical threat on this tribe, but he is probably the number one most dangerous social threat in the entire game. You also have Edge and Rhea Ripley. Now, when I created this cast, it was pre-Judgment Day breakup, or pre-Edge getting kicked out of Judgment Day. So we're going with the current iterations of all of these superstars. So you have Rhea Ripley, who just turned on Edge. They're going to be on the same tribe together. Should be quite interesting. It's also very heel heavy. The only real baby faces on this tribe, you have Dominic, you have Montez, and you have what I'm assuming will be Edge. We're going back to a babyface role within the company. And then plenty of heels. You have Paul, you have Jimmy, you have Carmella, you got Sasha, you got Sonya, and you have Gigi. It is very heel heavy on this tribe, and I am very curious to see who someone like a Paul Heyman will want to align himself with. Definitely going to be with Jimmy Uso, but who else will those two align with? Will the Bloodline reign supreme in Galang, or will they be the first ones targeted? We will find out soon enough. All right, so let's take a look at the whole cast overall. Bring this graphic up here. So here you have all 10 members of each tribe. Now, when I come in with the first part of the fantasy season, we're going to do a lot of breaking down of the tribe dynamic, who is aligned with who, all of that good stuff. I don't want to go too in-depth here for that. But over at Tadhana, like I said, I'm pretty sure Roman Reigns will take charge of his tribe, and you'll have the likes of Bayley and Damian Priest and JC Jane all following suit. And I'm assuming Corey Graves as well. Maybe Adam Pearce, maybe not. It could be a big 50-50 split. And will the big dog have a big target on his back early on? Will he be able to make it to the merge to meet up with the other members of the Bloodline? He'll also have Naomi, who is the wife of a member of the Bloodline, Jimmy Uso, there as well. Should be an interesting dynamic over at Tadhana if they start losing challenges. And let's go over to Galang. Of course, like I said earlier, Paul Heyman, I imagine, will be the biggest social threat in the entire game. But will him and Jimmy Uso be targeted to keep him away from Roman Reigns near the end game? Will the 3 baby faces on Galang stand any chance against the overwhelming odds of all the heels over on the Yellow Tribe? It's going to be really interesting. I'm really looking forward to putting all of this together, and I hope you guys will all come back Stay tuned for more stuff here on Wrestling with Fans. So guys, thank you all so much for checking out this video. If you enjoyed it, give it a big old fat thumbs up. And of course, super click that subscribe button. Turn on the notifications if you want to be notified when the first part of this show goes up. Planning on going live maybe with one of the episodes in the next week or so, so stay tuned to the channel for that. If you enjoyed it, let me know in the comments who is your preseason winner pick for WWE Survivor Season 2, Blood vs. Water. That's going to do it for this video. We'll see you very soon for part 1 of this Fantasy Survivor season. Thank you all for watching. Once again, my name is Kyle. This is Wrestling with Fans, and we'll see you guys in the next video.